Hi, welcome to the Global Markets Advisor. Today the topic is doing business in India. If you look back on the global map, it's right here, India. A recent Ernst & Young report predicts that a tectonic shift in the distribution of global capital means that all of the BRIC economies, including Brazil, Russia, India, and China, will likely contribute 40% to the global growth in 9 years. So it's 40% of the growth in all the world by 2020. So today this topic is India. I want to read an economist blurb that was taken just a few years ago. It said, over the past 5 years, China's annual growth rate has been more than 10%, and India's has been more than 8%. Yet even though these figures understate the change that's taken place, the emerging countries are no longer content to be the sources of cheap hands and low-cost brains. Instead, they too are becoming hotbeds of innovation, producing breakthroughs in everything from telecoms to car making and even healthcare. They are redesigning products to reduce costs not just by 10%, but up to 90%. They are redesigning entire business processes to do things better and faster than their rivals in the West. You know, the age of doing business from everyone to everywhere and for everything has come about. India has a lot of history and has influenced the world in many ways, but the biggest influence is yet to come. The current population growth figures indicate that by 2030, 1 in 5 people on the planet will be Indian. By the way, I have a full, free, downloadable white paper that you can read, and I encourage you to download that and do just that. But here's a few of the highlights. One is this: the market exists in India. Entrepreneurial opportunities abound for the rest of the world, but for those who are seeking to come into India, it especially abounds. Many Western companies are taking their technology from the West and are going into India to scale. The economics of taking Western technology, adding that into a joint venture with an Indian company, is equaling great profits for many people. The advice given from many of the venture capitalists in India that I've spoken to is that many of the largest of Indian CEOs and most Western companies in India is that they must partner with an Indian firm. Of course, the alternative is to navigate the road less traveled, alone. The argument is that you might just enjoy the journey, true, but most business is out to make profit. And the case studies that I've seen unanimously prove that a joint venture in India is the current best practice. At the same time, Indian companies are globalizing. Western firms need their Indian firms just as much as the other, and both can provide huge benefits to both. I believe a tipping point is coming. Things have changed so much in India that there is now a very comfortable tax regime. 50% of India's population is under 24 years of age, thus mitigating a decrease in the working population. This means that there are 800 million people in India under the age of 30 who are looking for work. 1 out of every 4 people in the world lives in India. It's an English-speaking, tech-savvy talent pool. Maturity of institutions and contract law providing a sound platform for strategy execution. Indian growth is much more consumer-led than export-driven and more insulated from economic crises. The GDP forecasts indicate that India will be among the first economies to shake off that global downturn and to return to growth rates of recent years, and it's actually starting to prove true. The middle class in India is very real and is expanding. There will be far more wealth creation, far more disposable income, and far more small to medium-sized businesses being created and thus prospering. So my encouragement to you is to get into this high-growth market and start enjoying the journey. The question that I'd have is, have you thought about emerging markets as an opportunity for you, for your product or your service, about exporting this into a new market, to gain greater market share, and to reach out to a lot more people who have emerged into the middle class? If so, I would encourage you, if you haven't, don't let the grass grow under your feet. Start looking and investigating. Familiarize yourself with whatever country you're interested in this case India. Read a book, search the internet, take one of the master classes that Global Markets Advisor offers so that you can get your business ready for international expansion. In our master classes, we enable you to answer some of the basic but very important questions. Number 1 is, how do you get started? What should you research? Which market is the best fit for your unique offering? What will you need? What are your options? And what skills and knowledge will you need to develop to be successful? There's many more details that we cover in the masterclass, but that's a few. I would encourage you to be thinking about those global expansion possibilities. You can register your interest on globalmarketsadvisor.com or tap into sigmaresource.com, and they can help you straight away in terms of helping you with connections, market research reports, and all kinds of analysis that you might need to get the journey started. Thanks for listening.